And welcome back to my channel. If you're just joining me for the first time, hi, my name is Angelfish, pronouns they, them, and today we are doing yet another checking in with Monster High video. For those of you who are uninitiated or new to my channel, this is sort of a reoccurring series which now has a playlist that you can check out, where I periodically check back in with Monster High's brand and go over things like doll releases, apparel, anything going on with the physical media or, digital watchable media, that sort of stuff. So if that interests you, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications so that you never miss a video from me. And without further ado, let's get into it. Since our last entry in the series, Stitched in Style Frankie came and went and is actually still available on Amazon for a decent price. In fact, I believe she went on sale recently, which is good for her. I think she's one of my favorite alumni releases to come out last year, and she's one of the last, little things from 2023 that I think I need to talk about in regards to alumni stuff. As far as alumni releases go, since the last time we had an installment in this series, there was Stitched in Style Frankie, there was Holiday Claudine, who I ended up having to cancel my pre-order for other reasons that I don't want to get into. Holiday Esquelita Calaveras was a thing. She was great. She's very cute. One day I hope to get her. And that sort of concludes it for recognizable characters. We did get the first two Off-White collaboration dolls, that being Harmony Electra. Wait, no, that's not her name. It's Electra Melody, and then Harmony Ghoul. You'll have to forgive me for botching their names. It's just, the thing with the Off-White dolls that I feel like everybody and their mother has spoken about is that not only is Mattel doing something with Monster High that doesn't feel like Monster High ever would have done before and feels sort of strange, but they're doing it with completely new characters that fans really have no incentive to add to their collection. Granted, the Off-White dolls are pretty. I like Melody Electra, or Electra Melody, whatever her name is, and I like Harmony Ghoul. They're objectively pretty dolls, but $150 for a character that nobody cares about, and I don't mean this to be mean, but a Monster High character that we haven't met, we have no prior attachments to, it just seems a little weird. I feel like this collection would have been better received if it were ghouls that we recognized, but it's just, the new characters, and they're not bad. They're not bad designs. In fact, I think the Off-White designs are very elevated in a sense of, there's Symphony, who is the ghost, and she's got a clear head that's got a skull inside of it, and her limbs are very cool, and she's doing a little peace sign, a hand mold, which is new. Harmony Ghoul is a Frankenmonster with a gorgeous hairstyle, and I love her face screening, and she's got fabric boots, and she's got this very flowy gown. And then you have freaking Electra Melody, who is basically just green Dawn of the Dance Laguna. And then you have the Gargoyle, whose name I forget, but she's kind of forgettable. And that's the problem with the Off-White collection, is it's just, who is it for? I don't think I got to talk about it in my last installment beyond a few little things, because we had just gotten the first few images, and I believe Electra Melody had just come out, but here we are, 2024, the Gargoyle is next on the slate, and nobody cares. That's kind of sad, actually. As far as recognizable characters that we care about go in 2024, you know how I said in my last installment I'd believe it when I see it when it came to the Kree productions? Well, Mattel sort of made me eat my words, because the original Kree productions of Spectra Vondergeist, Abby Abominable, Ghoulia Yelps, and there was one other. I believe it was actually just those three. Ghoulia Yelps, Spectra Vondergeist, Abby Abominable. Mattel made me eat my words. They are actually coming out. They were released early on Palmart, and, well, I did not get them. I was not going to subject myself to that madhouse, but apparently they're going to be available on Amazon later this spring, along with a restock of Laguna, Claudine, Draculaura, and Frankie. I feel like there's a fourth character that I'm just not remembering that was a thing with this pre-production drop, but it's not coming to mind. I do remember the big controversy with Spectra was that she has polypropylene on her pre-production doll, which doesn't make sense when you consider her Midnight Runway doll has saran hair, but I digress. I don't know if I will be getting the pre-productions, honestly, unless Mattel has such a large quantity of them ready to go. I don't think I'm going to try for them. The Draculaura and Claude Holiday 2-pack for Valentine's Day this year has officially been released, at least on Mattel Creations. It'll be heading to other retailers in the very near future at the time I'm recording this, and I do plan on picking them up. I don't get the hate that the Draculaura gets from this set. I think she's fine. It's a trumpet dress silhouette. A lot of people have been confusing it with a mermaid skirt, which honestly just tells me that y'all don't actually know what a mermaid cut gown looks like anymore. But that's beside the point. I think, as a set, it's more successful than last year's Cleo and Deuce 2-pack design-wise. I think Claude looks phenomenal. Claude is definitely the shining star of this 2-pack. Like, he looks great. A lot of people are like, I don't get the bell bottoms. Baby, you just don't get the fashion references, okay? Like, he is referencing a very specific niche, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, do some research before you run your mouth on Twitter and say something stupid, and then people are like, no, actually, this has been a very, very prominent silhouette in a very niche community, and you should pay it some respect. Like, that's beside the point. G1 is getting sort of a canon continuation with a graphic novel that's coming out sometime this year. I don't remember the exact release date, but I figured I should mention it because it is something that happened since the last time we talked about this. As far as Collector releases go, we finished off 2023 with Jack and Sally's absolutely terrifying drop on Mattel Creations. I myself had to track them down on eBay because it was a bit of a disaster, but I have a video on them, so I don't even know why I'm restating that. Going off script here for a second, that was supposed to be a joke, but it's not funny. I'm bad at writing jokes. I'm bad at writing. But anyway, back onto the script. I think Jack and Sally, despite how messy their release was, are definitely a moment to be cemented in the brand's history as one of the longest anticipated collaborations that the brand has ever seen. I mean, all the way back when this brand first started, people had been clamoring at the idea of a Jack and Sally doll. And now that it's here, I can confidently say that it was kind of worth the wait. Worth the stress, that's another story, but worth the wait, yeah, I'm really happy with the way that they turned out, and Sally and Jack will forever be fun little souvenirs from this current time in my life, and I think that is the case for anybody who was lucky enough to find them for a decent price. I don't know why I'm bringing her up in this section in the script instead of in the previous section, but Fang Vote Rochelle is finally shipping out. As you know, I did not get her because I didn't like the way that she turned out, and I kind of dodged a bullet with that one. I'm not gonna lie, after seeing pictures of people's dolls that they're receiving, I think it's a good thing that I didn't spend $90 on her, because she does not look like she was worth the wait. I'm sorry to Rochelle Goyle fans, but I think I'm just gonna wait for them to redo her in G3 before I consider buying any alumni Rochelles. She's just, why is she jaundiced? Like, that's my question. Why is the new doll of her jaundiced? Why is her skin tone so yellowed, like it's from glue seepage, when she's not like that at all normally? I don't get it, but here we are. And looking to the future, well, as far as collector releases go in 2024, this time last year we had already gotten Elvira's drop but 2.5 weeks into January, we've got nothing on any Collector releases so far. The only thing that we did get was the leak of the Wednesday Addams collaboration, which I don't even think is under the Collector label, as there's 3 separate dolls retailing for different price points, which leads me to believe those are actually going to be in stores. As for the idea of a Wednesday Addams collaboration, it makes sense with where the brand is currently at. I mean, Wednesday just makes sense. It's massively popular. It's getting a second season later this year that's coming out at some time that I don't remember, and in fact, I don't care to even look it up while I'm writing this, because I'm not the biggest fan of Wednesday as a show, but that's a story for another day. The dolls themselves that leaked, they look fine. I'm not going to sit and harp on designs that I don't actually care about, because they're not for me. They're for fans of Monster High who are also fans of Wednesday's Netflix. Wednesday's Netflix. Dyslexia is beating my ass in this script. I hope you all know that. Netflix is Wednesday. Anyway. They look fine. We're getting 2 Wednesday dolls and then Enid. They look okay. I feel like I'm gonna withhold all of my judgment until they are actually out, beyond what I've already said. But that is a thing that is happening this year, along with other rumored Collector sets, and I figured I might as well bring them up now. As far as we are currently aware, the Creature from the Black Lagoon is something that's on the docket, as is a 3-pack with the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus, and a Morticia Addams and Wednesday Addams 2-pack. I don't think I will be trying for any of those, which is kind of funny because in my first video in this series ever, I distinctly brought up wanting a Creature from the Black Lagoon doll to complete the Universal Horror collabs, but they skipped Wolfman, A, which, not happy about. Where is he? It's not Universal Monsters without him. And B, with how these Collector drops have been going recently, I don't think I'm even gonna bother trying to get him or her, them, whatever gender presentation the Creature from the Black Lagoon ends up with, I will probably like just because I'm a fan of the movie and a fan of Monster High, but also, I know in my heart of hearts, I'm probably not going to get them. It's another one of those things where Mattel Creations has created this sort of, like, dynamic with the consumer, where the dread of actually attempting to purchase the product outweighs any desire to actually get the product. So we're just going to skip those. And now it is time for the meat of the video, which is always Generation 3. Generation 3 of Monster High is the ongoing incarnation of the brand that started up in 2022 and is hitting its sophomore year in the canon of the show, as well as just where we are in terms of the dolls actually being on store shelves. Now, as far as things go with older releases, I'm sure some of you have noticed, and I'm going to bring them on screen real quick, but longer-necked variants of characters like Cleo and Laguna have been popping up. Both of these dolls have been customized by yours truly, which is why they have different makeup and clothes. But, well, and also added pink streaks in Laguna's case. But this is not something that you guys are going to see go away anytime soon, and I figured I should mention the 2024 doll releases are going to be having this longer neck variant as the new normal. This is going to be the standard for Monster High very shortly. With most of the 2024 releases, I believe, come fall, all of these dolls will have this new 2024 body, and this is for a reason. The Monster High team actually went back and adjusted the geometry to the upper torsos of the ghouls because the clothes were not sitting on them the way that they had originally intended. Which is kind of funny because it was an issue that a lot of people had with the dolls when they first came out, and now that it's been fixed, people are complaining about it. Online feedback about the neck adjustments is mixed, personally. I like it. I like that they've gone back and done that. As someone who regularly sews clothes on this scale, it is actually a very good thing that the neck is the only thing they adjusted, because it goes to show the patterns for the outfits that they've originally made are actually fine. It's just the way they were sitting on the body that they manufactured that was incorrect. Now that the body has been fixed, things should go a little bit smoother. Also, this is a signature Cleo with Saran hair. I should mention, this isn't in the script, but currently, Cleo Denial is going through a Saran hair phase as a character, and I could not be happier. Since the last time we checked in with Generation 3 of Monster High, the Fabulous Pets Target exclusive doll line hit store shelves, and is still there after the holiday season. I believe it came out in October in its fullest capacity, and will probably be on store shelves for quite a bit. The Fabulous Pets line consists of Cleo as a solo release with her pet hit set, as well as Tut. I love Tut, but he's not going to be in her next release, which is unfortunate. And then we also have a Claudine and Draculaura 2-pack. Now, all of these dolls are exclusive to Target, which means I have no idea how they're going to be available outside of the US. In fact, I don't think anybody knows if they'll be available outside of the US. But this line is noteworthy for having Cleo as her technically first Saran hair doll. This was the one that people were like, oh my god, she's got a new hair color, what is this? And then it's like, oh my god, it's Saran, it's a new Saran blend. Granted, Cleo has had Saran on 2 releases in the past, being the first series of Skulltimate Secrets and also the Ghoul Spirit doll, but both of those are not readily available anymore, whereas this kind of is. Kind of. Air quotes. Because again, Target exclusive. And this new wave of Cleo dolls with Saran hair extends to other retailer exclusives because she got her own Gorganizer. And it came with this doll, who I have pierced her ears and given her a crown, but she's in her original outfit. So, might as well show. Same hair blend. I like that we've gone back and given Cleo Saran hair, something that is very much needed for her because the polypropylene is not great. It's often dehydrated. Although Monster Ball Cleo is sort of the exception, her polypropylene is actually nice, but other Cleo dolls don't have that luxury. Scaradise Island is Monster High's new budget doll that is supposed to line up with something that goes on in Season 2 of the Monster High Nickelodeon show, which is coming later this year at an undetermined, undisclosed date. Scaradise Island, at the time I'm recording this, is finally fully rolled out both on Amazon and on Target store shelves, minus the Laguna playset if you are looking for her in person. I only have Frankie and Claudine from this set so far, just because I kind of didn't like Scaradise at first. Not that I hated their designs, they were low on the priority list. But now that they're readily available, I think I might actually go back and start picking them up. They originally were on Amazon in fall of last year. I have a review video on Frankie. I did not do one on Claudine, but they are very well made for budget dolls, and I'm quite happy that they are a thing. They retail at $17.99, which is pretty reasonable for a budget doll in these day and age, especially with our current economy. And Claudine has Saran hair on this release in her original color palette too, which is very interesting. And I like that it's a thing that they've gone and done, considering the fact that if you watch the first video in this series, one of my biggest critiques, because it was a top 10 list, was that Claudine's hair color was almost always polypropylene. Well, we are getting more and more Saran releases with her, and I could not be happier. I believe Core Refresh should be hitting shelves soon. I saw a couple Claudines today while I was at the store. Not in the best shape screening-wise. I think they may have a sizing problem with her eyes, but she too has Saran hair. And so does the Creepover Sam's Club 2-pack Claudine, which I have acquired separately from the Sam's Club 2-pack, because I did not want to buy an entire bedroom playset for one doll. But that's a thing. Claudine just has Saran now. And also the Scaradice line is meant to sort of phase in the new bodies. At least that's what I've been told. Claudine is the biggest example of it. Her dolls in this line only have the long neck, the new body proportions, whereas Draculaura and Frankie, I believe, are some characters that still use the old bodies. Like Frankie is using the older body, my Frankie, but then there are variants out there that have the longer necks. So it's sort of like this little intermediate period where we're getting the new bodies for G3 slowly. Skulltimate Secrets Neon Frights is now fully available on store shelves and on Amazon. They are fully stocked at Target now, I believe, and I talked about how Neon Frights is where I wanted to step away from Skulltimate Secrets. I have largely avoided collecting this line except for the one Frankie that I've gotten, and I do kind of want to get a duplicate of them for rerouting purposes, because I mean, it's a Skulltimate Secrets doll. It's got polypropylene for budget reasons, but, like, Frankie is probably my favorite doll of the line. After seeing them in person, I definitely think the magic's gone 3 series into the Skulltimate Secrets gimmick, but I know for a fact that the kids are gonna love it because we're getting a 4th series sometime this year, and it's gonna be ballet themed from the leaks that we've seen. So Skulltimate Secrets is doing well amongst the target demographic. Amongst adult collectors is a different story, but I'm glad to see that something Monster High is doing is being well received in this day and age by the majority of the target audience. This is something that I retroactively had to go back and add into the script a couple days ago before filming, but Claude Wolf, I'm sure you've noticed, has started not restocking in person at most Target stores. And this is apparently due to spacing reasons. He's not discontinued. They are still going to be carrying him online from what I hear. But due to shelf space and the fact that he is a boy doll, he has relinquished his spot on Target shelves to Venus McFlytrap by and large. So once Venus shows up at your stores, you're kind of SOL if you wanted to find him in person, which is unfortunate. And I'm really sad to see that because I really like Claude. I have a lot of plans to do with him customization-wise, and I still need to pick up more dolls for that, but that's going to be a lot harder now, considering the fact that his barcode is literally gone from the store shelf, and I'm going to have to order him online now. He's still being produced. I've been told that much by a single designer, but due to assortment space allotted, most Target stores are probably going to be phasing him out here in the US, which is really sad to see, and I'm sad that it's him and not any of the other older doll releases, because we are getting core refresh, and yet stores are still stocking certain characters that have not moved. I'm going to be frank with you, Ghoulia did not need to be on the store shelves this long, Signature Ghoulia. In fact, I think maybe she should have relinquished her spot to Venus so that Claude could be on the shelves at the same time. It just doesn't make sense for me because he is a newer character and I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, but this is not something that the Mattel team has control over. This is something that the stores themselves have actively chosen to do, which is unfortunate. Of the new signature dolls coming out, we are getting new signature dolls. I briefly mentioned them in the last checking in with Monster High video. It was a very small mention, I believe. But Draculaura, Claudine, they are the first 2 dolls in the new core lineup, the sophomore year looks, if you will. And they are the first 2 that I have seen in person. I picked up the only Draculaura that I could find, whereas Claudine, she's going to be there for a bit. The 2 that I saw in person were kind of wonky, so I didn't choose her, despite her being my favorite out of the 2. But they are shipping out to stores now. They should be widely available soon. and we are getting Cleo, Laguna, and Frankie later this spring. We did see actual pictures of them finally, thanks to Monster High's Amazon page in Mexico leaking the high school playset, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm not really a playset girly. It looks fun for the kids. I'm not going to spend the money on it because I frankly don't want to buy a giant dollhouse that I'm going to have nothing to do with. But the dolls themselves are taking a very interesting direction, and I'm very excited to see where they go. Originally, I was going to do an unboxing video on this Draculaura, but I'm sure you've noticed I've largely stepped away from unboxing, so I'm going to do that off camera. But I can confidently say that I like this direction that the sophomore year interpretations of the ghouls are taking, and it is their sophomore year. Canonically, in the Monster High cartoon, Monster Ball wrapped up Claudine's first year at Monster High, meaning Season 2 is going to be the next school year. Every doll release that we see this year, I'm assuming, is going to be the ghouls, but a year older. And it really does feel like that with the new design interpretations, so I like that. Anyway, this is a fun note to end things on, and I'm really excited to see where Monster High continues to go later this year. We've got Monster Fest, which is like their music festival thing coming up. We've got Skulltimate Secret Series 4, so on and so forth. The brand is just interesting again, and I like that. And that's all the time I have for this video. Thank you all so much for watching yet another recap of where Monster High is currently at as a brand. I'm glad that you guys really seem to like this series, and I hope to continue it periodically throughout this year. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!